Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and having a fantastic week. In today's video, I'm talking about bonding up two birds. It's a question we get a lot of people not sure how to do it right. So we're going to give you all of our tips that we've used with our birds today. Now, if you're not familiar with our flock, we have 8 birds and they are all in pairs. They live with their pairs in their own spaces, in their own cages. So we've done a pretty good job with bonding up our birds. So we wanted to talk all about that today. Now, we think it is such a gift to give our birds a companion of the avian kind, and that's not any shade at people who have single bird households. There's plenty of those who live their best lives and they love their humans. But saying that, there is only so much that we can offer them as humans. You know, we're not the same kind of animal. So giving your bird the opportunity to have a companion of their own that is a bird and is a similar type of species or the same species as them is going to be so valuable for them. They can communicate in the same way, they can read each other's body language, and they can just fulfill that flock need, because parrots are a flock species, and whilst of course we as humans are part of the flock, we can't always meet every single need of theirs because we're just not birds, and that's just not going to happen. So if we can give them a companion, then that is really awesome for them. So here is how you can try and bond up two birds together. Now, the first important point to remember is not to rush. It's obviously very exciting. We want our birds to be best friends straight away, but we don't want to go too fast, because then we're probably going to make some mistakes and maybe set ourselves back in our progress. So the best thing to do when you have two birds is to have their cages on separate sides of the room and then slowly move them together over time, so they can kind of get used to each other without being forced next to each other and being a bit intimidated by that. Now, what you can do once the cages are next to each other and the birds are nice and calm is you can have one bird out and having a snack in front of the other one. This is what we did with Olive and Charlie. We had either bird having their bowl of snacks in front of the other, and they kind of ate together, which is really cute. So that can be a good way of birds kind of learning that you know, the bird isn't going to come for them and their resources, and they can see them and get to know their body language and mannerisms. At this point, you can also do training through the bars. So target training is super important and has so many different types of uses, and one of these uses is when your birds are in their separate cages, you can give them a target each, take it in turns, and again, they're kind of learning. They've got this protective barrier of their own space currently. Their bird is not going to come after them and their treats, but we're all taking part in this really fun training session together, which is a really fun experience, and a lot of birds really enjoy that, and they see that we're all getting treats at the same time, especially high value treats, and it's all nice and fun. Something I hear all the time about people who are thinking about bonding up two birds is they worry that if they bond two birds together, then they're not going to love you anymore. And I have to say that is a complete myth. You'll see people trying to justify it online, but honestly it's a myth. We've got 4 examples here of pairs who both love each other and me and David. There isn't really any kind of relationship shift there. The only difference is you have to keep putting in work in your relationship, so that hasn't really changed. You just have to keep working on it, keep training, keep bonding with your birds, and that's how you're going to keep your relationship with them as well as them having a relationship with each other. Now, the only time you may have a challenge with birds preferring each other to you is if they're hormonal, and of course we want to try and reduce that hormonal behaviour as much as possible, but we always need to continue to work on our relationship with our birds. Keep going, keep putting in all that effort with bonding and training, and then you will have a happy relationship with all of your birds. Another technique that you can use for bonding up your birds is to have them out and have them playing on a play stand together. Now, it's really important when you are bonding two birds to have multiple resources. You don't want just one food bowl to start off with, because they're probably going to fight over it, especially the bird who has been there the longest. So as an example here, we've got some clips of Pickles and Scampi when we were bonding them up. We had them on our play stand with 2 separate bowls at the end of a perch, and then they could be separated. But if I noticed that Pickles was coming too close or she was being a bit sassy, I would just put my hand in the middle, like a sleeved hand. So again, if I would rather get bitten than the birds, and then it kind of breaks up that behaviour, and then she would just go back to eating. So you can intervene, but we always say the best time to intervene is only really when your birds are going for each other's faces or feet. We kind of want our birds to be able to tell each other what they're comfortable with, their boundaries, what's okay and what's not. But if a bird is trying to hurt another, normally they will try and go for the feet, or they'll usually go for the eyes. Now, we do allow a bit of beak bashing, a bit of shouting, a bit of posturing, but no real aggressive behaviour, because we don't want to see any of that. We want them to just tell each other what they're happy with and what they're not. We also love offering communal foraging. Now, in the wild, parrots would spend about 70% of their day foraging, and it's a real flock activity. They're all looking out for each other, they're all trying to get each other the best snacks. So we can do that in our homes as well. You can have 2 plates separated and then slowly slowly move them closer together to the point where your birds can feed from the same space with food all around the edge. You can also have different bowls out and about and let them forage that way. Again, it's important not to rush because again they may get a bit possessive over their resources, so you want to go nice and slow, have the bowls or plates further away to start off with and slowly move them closer together, and of course only intervening if there is a real scrap going on. Now, when doing any of this bonding and training work with your two birds, make sure you're using those high value treats because that's what they're going to have more reinforcement with. If you're trying to bond them and train them up with vegetables, they may not be as interested as if you're using something like sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, almond pieces, all their favourite snacks. And later on when they are bonded, of course, you can go back to the usual kinds of foods that they can share, like vegetables and sprouts and things like that. And another fun way that you can bond up two birds, again, is kind of transferring that training through the bars when they're in the cages to outside of the cage training. So you can have two separate play stands. Ideally it works best with two humans, but you can do it with one if you've kind of got all your target sticks and your treats and everything in a little pouch. But you can do a communal training session. So again, taking it turns to ask each bird for a behaviour, whether that's a target, spin, wave, whatever it is that they know, could even be a step up. And again, it's taking it in turns, teaching your birds to kind of wait for their turn and also to know that we're all taking part together, we're all getting the tasty snacks. And of course, training should be a really fun experience anyway. Your birds should want to participate, especially if you're using the right treats. So it should be a really fun activity for you all to do together. Now, another sort of unconventional tip that we actually found in Marley McCone's video a long time ago was to kind of teaching your birds to share a human, and you know, you can have them on either hand or either shoulder and reinforce for calm. But the other thing we saw in her video, and it's not going to work for every bird, is just taking it in turns to give your birds little kisses if they like it. So go. And over time you're bringing the birds slowly closer and closer together to you and each other. Now, this isn't going to work for all birds. If we did this with Charlie or Kipling, I think I'd probably have a lip piercing. But for some birds like Pickles and Scampi, who enjoy kisses, you can do this over time, and again it teaches them that we're all part of the same flock, we're all getting attention from the same human, we're all having lovely snuggles, and it really worked for Pickles and Scampi. And then we can get to the point where we can maybe share some snuggles as well. So that brings me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed learning about our bonding tips for bonding up two birds. If you have any tips of your own, I would love to hear from you down in the comments. As I said, it's such a rewarding experience when we can give our birds a companion of their own. I may always say that you can at least achieve tolerance, for anyone who's wondering if maybe what if birds don't get along. We say you can always achieve tolerance, they can always tolerate each other, be in the same space, but not every bird is going to be best friends. But that's okay as well, because it's always important to prepare for the fact you may need to house them separately going forward. But with our experience, all of our birds in their pairs love each other, and we're really, really happy about that. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to watch my next video, which is on building trust. It works with building trust with you and with your birds as well. So I'll leave a card for that now, and it'll be on the end screen too. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. Take care and see you later.